All right, welcome back to Chat Room. I'm Michael, and I'm here with my co-host John. And I wanted to discuss a number of news articles that have been coming out recently, and it's basically potential optimism. So there's been one article that discusses how inflation is down for a low for at least the last 2 years. We're still not to, like our pre-COVID levels of, like 2% or lower. But we're hovering about half of where we were. And also, in addition to that, we just hit a bull market as Wall Street rallied with a 20% surge since its most recent low, which was October 12th, 2002. 2022. But also, the Fed chair just had a meeting, and instead of raising rates, just decided to hold. Now, they've kind of teased that could still change. There's possible two more rate increases, and it looks like possibly happening for the rest of the year. But, some optimism, and I just want to kind of gauge your thoughts. I got my thoughts, John, but I know I'm coming to you this cold.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on all that?
Do you want me to start first with like why the Fed's put a pause, sort of,
I mean,
or
I am flexible with you. I know I give you a lot, so
yeah.
whatever you want to
Okay,
respond
well,
to.
I'll start off with I feel like the big thing right now is like the Fed's not hiking up the interest rates like normal. And I would say, based on my research and just kind of watching, some of the YouTubers that I watch, that decision's based on the banks more than like the actual, versus like the population or inflation or anything like that. It's more kind of they are waiting. I guess the best way to explain it for everyone, what I'm kind of thinking is that they're waiting for the banks to tighten up, like basically their loans. And kind of what I mean by that is they're still giving out loans and they're not tightening their balances on their books. So, if they're still giving out loans and giving out these loans to people that can barely afford it, stuff like that, they're not really tightening their lending for profit reasons and other reasons like that. So I believe they're trying to mellow it out and see how this is all going to play out, since they don't have enough proof, I guess, not really proof, but enough data that the banks are tightening.
Yeah.
If that
Well,
makes
and
sense.
definitely, I mean, I think you hit on the one where if you're going to start with the one that kind of affects all of them, because
Mhm.
the stock market seems to be really closely tied to what it thinks the Fed chair is doing.
Yeah.
The Fed chair, Jerome Powell, specifically said he doesn't like to surprise the the
Yeah.
stocks or anybody. Which is
Yeah.
why I mentioned that a lot of kind of common thinking is that there will be like two small hikes still, because just they pay attention to every like sentence and every word of what he says.
Right. Yeah.
It's kind of what they're thinking. But yeah, I kind of I agree with you there, because and even probably with everyday spending, because I've definitely slowed down myself, and
Hmm.
some of that's just timing. I don't do as much as in the summer as I do in the winter and fall. I'm kind of the reverse of a typical family, I guess, with vacations often
Yeah.
in the summer. But I know, obviously the cost for borrowing, as you're suggesting, cost for, credit card rates and all these kind of things
Hmm.
have been impacted. So it's just not really like a time to spend. And it probably will hold for a while, even if he didn't raise it,
Hmm.
and that
Yeah.
would still keep affecting us because the rates are still quite high.
Yeah. I think if everything turns out what they're thinking it's going to turn out to be like, I think there will be a small raise in July.
Yeah.
I really do. I think they're nowhere near the goal from where they started, dramatically raising rates. I don't think they're anywhere near where they want to be. Obviously, everyone's heard they want to get back down to like 2% inflation, stuff like that. And I think they're going to have to raise them some more to actually hit some of these goals. I think all these goals are honestly long term. I don't think that they'll be dropping rates anytime soon.
Do you feel, and I'll just go ahead and say my position, I am one that is feeling kind of optimistic because it seems like all these things are working in tandem.
Yeah.
And while it's probably too early, like you're saying, to really know, and we could still kind of dip because this could still be too much.
Yeah.
We just don't know it. But I am starting to feel that optimism. Is that something you're feeling, or are you still like just entirely pessimistic, or just like very wait and see?
Like I said, I mean, I don't really think that on their agenda is to drop rates. I think if rates come down, it's because they are not trying to create this huge economy crash.
Yeah.
If that
Well,
makes
and
sense.
and specifically, are you optimistic that they'll, have a soft landing as they've been saying the whole time?
No, I don't think there's going to be a soft landing. I don't know. Like, I guess where I'm confused is, will there be a really big landing, or will there just be like a semi big landing? You know what I mean? I don't think there's any soft way this is going to play because, I think they hide the words, or they use the word soft to hide the trauma that's going to go on for the next year or so. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because I
No,
think
that's fair.
because interest rates, I mean, what they're doing right now, and people are going to be like, oh, you're not a financial guy. Yes, don't listen to me. But, the interest rates going up, it affects little things in every category. So if you have a budget of, let's say $300 for groceries, well, when you raise up interest rates, it makes your paper towels like maybe 25 cents. And I'm just throwing random numbers out there. But when your paper towels are 25% more, when meat's a couple dollars more, when this is more, that's more, the gas to the grocery store is a little bit more. You know what I mean? Your credit card interest on your credit card is a little bit more. You know what I mean? So in reality, and when you look at the whole picture, it's like your lifestyle just went up $1,000, but you don't
Well,
actually see it because it's not
yeah.
happening in one exact place, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
So the hope there though is that the product prices
Mhm.
are actually going, they should be going down from inflation costs. But
Mhm.
you're right, kind of our ability to borrow, to
Mhm.
spend,
Yeah.
that
And
is
that's
going
one
to
thing
be
I've never
impacted.
understood, because yes, you're right. And when inflation goes down, obviously like the goods should technically go down. But I think that's where the problem where we're at is, how much money is borrowed in order to have the staff, the trucks, the gas, the manufacturing, everything that makes those products come to the shelves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And even though the money's borrowed and will be paid back, if it's more expensive to have the funds to operate your business in order to get the products on the shelf for the normal, 9 to 5 cats and whatever, and just a normal daily people, you're going to charge more. You know what I mean? So you can make sure you could pay the more borrowed money, or the more costly borrowed money back.
Well, you're going to do one of two things. Because,
Yeah.
yeah, you're bringing up a good point. Because the one thing is, yeah, I mean, when people can't purchase as much, even if prices go down on some items, they don't go down equally.
Hmm.
Some businesses will get hurt. But I think usually, and this is where you're right, soft landing is kind of nice language to cover some pain that will still happen regardless,
Yeah.
because they expect job losses. Like they actually, the Fed actually would like salaries to not necessarily go up at the sky high rate. They're trying to cool the economy. It's
Exactly.
basically it's the average worker getting too much.
Hmm.
So that business example you had, I think it's more likely, instead of again raising prices only, they may still do that.
Hmm.
They're more likely to be like, hey, maybe we can do without these workers,
Right.
and
Yeah.
then kind of cut down or find a way to AI or something like that
Yeah.
to help supplement, what they're doing.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, I think there's different ways you can cut costs as running a business, but yeah, I definitely agree with what you just said. That's another way to the pain will hit the normal people, I feel
Yeah.
like. Um, but yeah, yeah, I don't think there's gonna be a soft landing. I don't think there's gonna be I think what they're trying to do is not go for the landing of like a 2008 or like a Great Depression.
Oh yeah.
So if you don't have those in mind, everything else kind of seems soft. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
it's like if we can go through something like that and already have been through that and recovered, anything better than that, I think they're using as the word soft.
Yeah.
But I think in the next year, if the same things that have been happening keep repeating itself and we keep going up this train, there's going to be job losses, like you said, in that there's going to be some products, maybe not all of them, that are going to be more expensive. There's going to be people that lose homes that can't pay their mortgage. There's going to be people that have to downgrade apartment sizes because they can't pay for, you know what I mean, for the apartment that they're in. There's just going to be a lot of little things that is like it's gonna affect the overall population.
Yeah.
I just don't
Now,
know if it's all going to be like bam, everyone's
yeah.
screwed.
Well, and do you think, because, in many ways, though, I think there would be a wealth gap there personally,
Yeah, for sure.
because, it's not necessarily the CEOs and people that are losing their jobs, but also,
Yeah.
and this is what I alluded to in the opening, but I hadn't directly addressed yet, which is you and I have seen our stocks go up. And, one of the articles talking about optimism is that, like, in the bull market, is
Yeah.
that stocks have gone up, 20% since they're low. I looked at mine. Mine is matched a year and a half ago, the one that
Yeah.
I have that I don't put more money into. And then, yeah, we both have one
Mhm.
that we do put money into. And that one's, yeah, doing amazing.
Mhm.
But again, that's, not everybody can even afford stocks. Not everybody has that option through their work.
Mhm.
So to me, that's where, like, maybe, whether it's the Musk of the world or not, they're like, yes, cha-ching.
Yeah.
Um, and we'll be like, well, if it holds for 40 years, 30 years. So
Mhm.
I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but
Um, I guess I'm not really educated enough to really know why stocks went up, recently and why there's a bull run. I'm not really sure. That's kind of one of
yeah,
the things
it's,
I'm not very educated on.
I mean, I think that's always hard because we had so many down times where the stocks were like, whatever, party, we're going to do amazing. And
Yeah.
this is one where, again, I think a lot of it is the positivity of these articles are referencing,
Mhm.
whether it's the hold or, we don't seem to have crashed yet. We
Yeah.
haven't bottomed out. So, like, that I kind of get, but it does seem like stocks are so disjointed. And
Mhm.
yeah, I think anybody that claims to fully understand stocks, I mean, obviously there's like brokers, but even then. So I think, John, your ignorance, as you put it, is just like, that's just because of how chaotic and crazy that world is.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
I don't think
honestly,
you're
it's
that
like
much more ignorant.
it's kinda crazy, like, I kinda get the concept of so, like, it's weird because Jerome Powell doesn't raise rates and stocks are kinda, like, going up. Not, like, dramatically going up, but, like, they're in the green, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
But then he, like or not yeah, I said that right. So he doesn't raise rates and the stock market, I mean, pretty much today is in the green. And I think a little bit of yesterday, if not a couple days before as well, where it's been green and steadily kind of, the average stock's like up like 2% right now.
Yeah,
So it's like, but if you raise the rates 0.20 or 0.25 basis points, it's like stuff starts dropping 3 to 4%. So is it like money's leaving as he ups it? And then, if he pauses it or goes down, money comes in. Like, I mean, that's what it
yeah.
seems like. I don't
I
know.
don't
Like,
I
it
don't
just
even
sounds
think
so
it's
crazy.
I don't even think it matches that precisely, because otherwise we wouldn't be in a bull market. Like, this
Right.
is because this is long term. So I think, again, and whether it's just Jerome Powell's doing a better job of being transparent,
Yeah.
because stocks are mostly about emotion, how
Yeah.
you feel something will do.
Yeah.
And I think, again, alluding to that article I referenced earlier, where somebody basically is like, Powell doesn't want surprises, and the
Mhm.
market doesn't like surprises. So I think it's even, and you're right, it may dip some, but like just a little bit. Like it might
Right.
dip like a little bit with an
Yeah.
increase, but it's
Yeah.
still overall going up. And I
Mhm.
think that's because they're expecting it. I
Right.
think he's done a good job of basically kind of being like, I'm not going to say what I'm going to do, but everybody knows what I'm going to do, right? And
Right.
that kind of prepares them. So I think if he like did something totally off base, and this one was a little surprised. There was some thought
Yeah.
maybe he would hold, whether it be this week or soon. But even then, it was like still in the cards. So I think that's why, yeah, even if it went more up because of hold, it's still going overall up. And I think a lot of that is just the expectation
Mhm.
that they have is kind of being met.
Right. Yeah. It's all emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. Well, that was a lot.
Yep.
I wanted to cover a lot because I just kept having all these like big things in my news feed, and I'm like, well, we got to talk about all this.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm glad we had a chance.
Mhm.
And as always, like, comment, subscribe. We definitely love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah.
Whether it be on the market, whether it be on Jerome Powell's holding. What do
Yeah.
you think he should do? How is this affecting your life already? If it
Right.
is at all.
Right.
Be
Yeah.
sure to let us know, and watch the next video.
Yes, sir.